We always thought we had a sister, a twin planet right next door. For centuries, when astronomers pointed their telescopes toward Venus, they saw something strange, a world completely wrapped in bright, beautiful white clouds. It looked peaceful, almost inviting. And because Venus is nearly the same size as Earth, humanity began to imagine something wonderful. Maybe oceans existed beneath those clouds. Maybe thick jungle stretched across its surface. Maybe rain fell on alien forests we had never seen. Science fiction writers dreamed about it constantly. They imagined explorers landing in tropical landscapes, towering plants, strange creatures moving through the fog, and maybe, just maybe, someone standing there, looking back at Earth. For a long time, Venus was the most hopeful place in the solar system. But there was one problem. No one had ever seen its surface. Those beautiful clouds were not just decoration. They were a curtain, and behind that curtain was something far worse than anyone had imagined. Because Venus is not Earth's twin. It is Earth's nightmare. Behind those glowing white clouds hides one of the most violent, hostile, and terrifying environments anywhere in the solar system. And to discover the truth, humanity had to send machines straight into hell.
During the Cold War, the Soviet Union became obsessed with Venus. They built a series of spacecraft called the Venera probes. These machines were different from the delicate robotic explorers we usually send into space. They were not fragile, they were not elegant, they were brutal, heavy, armored, built like deep-sea submarines designed for war. Their bodies were forged from thick titanium and reinforced steel. Every bolt, every panel, built with one goal in mind: survive Venus. But there was just one terrifying truth. No one actually knew what Venus was like. When the early Venera probes finally arrived and began their descent through the thick atmosphere, something horrifying happened. The first thing they discovered was the clouds. Those beautiful white clouds that had fooled humanity for centuries were not made of water. They were made of sulfuric acid, pure acid. As the probes fell deeper into the atmosphere, droplets of acid began to slam into their metal bodies. The chemical rain slowly started eating away at the outer shell. Metal hissed, surfaces corroded. The probes were being chemically burned alive as they fell. But the acid rain was only the beginning. As the probes descended deeper and deeper, the sky began to change. The bright clouds faded away, and the world turned into a suffocating shade of orange. The deeper they fell, the darker and heavier the atmosphere became. And then the real killer appeared: pressure. On Earth, the air pressing on your body equals about 1 atmosphere of pressure. You don't feel it, your body's used to it. But on the surface of Venus, the pressure is 90 times stronger. Imagine standing still and suddenly having the weight of an entire ocean dropped directly onto your chest. It's the same pressure you would experience 3,000 feet underwater, except here, there is no water, only air, crushing, invisible air. The early Venera probes never even reached the surface. Still miles above the ground, the atmosphere itself destroyed them. Their thick titanium hulls began to groan, metal bent, bolts strained. The machines fought desperately to hold their shape.
And then the pressure won. The probes violently collapsed inward, crushed, folded, destroyed before they ever touched the alien ground below. Space is usually silent and empty, but near Venus, space felt different. It felt heavy, like the planet itself was squeezing humanity away.
But engineers refused to give up. If Venus wanted to destroy their machines, they would simply build stronger ones. So in 1982, the Soviet Union launched a new probe, Venera 13. This was not just another spacecraft, it was a tank, a heavily armored machine designed specifically to survive the worst conditions imaginable. When Venera 13 finally reached Venus, it began its descent. First, the acid clouds. The probe pushed through them. Then the crushing pressure. The metal frame screamed under the weight, but held together. Lower, 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 until finally, for the first time in human history, a human-made machine touched the surface of Venus. Humanity had arrived on its evil twin. But there was a problem. Venera 13 was on borrowed time. The temperature outside the probe was nearly 890 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to melt lead. The machine wasn't just sitting on the surface of Venus, it was sitting inside a planetary furnace. Inside the probe, cooling systems fought desperately to keep the electronics alive. But the engineers knew the truth. The machine was dying. It had been designed to survive only 32 minutes. Every second after landing was a battle against heat. Knowing its life would be short, Venera 13 started working immediately. Mechanical arms moved, protective lens caps popped open, and the cameras turned toward the alien world around them. For the first time in history, humanity saw the surface of Venus. The images came back slowly, pixel by pixel, across millions of miles of empty space. What appeared was not a paradise, not jungles, not oceans, only a silent wasteland. The ground was flat, cracked, and covered with dark volcanic rock. The landscape stretched endlessly under a thick orange sky. There were no shadows, no sunlight, just a dim, suffocating glow. The sky itself looked sick, heavy, like the air was too thick to breathe. It looked like a graveyard, a dead planet frozen in heat and pressure. But Venera 13 wasn't finished. Before its systems failed, it activated one final instrument, a microphone. And for the first time in human history, humanity heard the sound of Venus. The sound of an alien world breathing, and across millions of miles, that sound reached Earth, the closest thing humanity had ever heard to the sound of hell. Venera 13 kept working. 30 minutes passed, then 40, then 60. The machine had already outlived its expected lifespan. Engineers back on Earth watched the data in disbelief. The probe refused to die. The heat outside continued rising. Slowly, the unbearable temperature began to creep through the armor. Inside the probe, the electronics began to overheat. Circuits expanded, wires warped, metal components began to soften.
Sensors failed one by one. Still, the probe kept transmitting. 90 minutes, 100 minutes, 120 minutes. Finally, after 127 minutes on the surface of Venus, the heat won. Inside the machine, delicate circuits finally melted. The camera went dark, the microphone fell silent, and the signal traveling through the thick acid clouds suddenly disappeared. Just like that. Venera 13 was gone. Today, Venera 13 is still there, sitting exactly where it landed. But it no longer looks like a spacecraft. The brutal heat and pressure have destroyed it. Its metal body has warped, glass has melted, electronics have turned into a lifeless mass of fused metal. What remains is barely recognizable, a silent, broken object baked permanently into alien rock. A monument, but not a proud one. Instead, it's a warning, because Venus once looked like the most beautiful planet in the sky. Bright, peaceful, perfect. But beauty can lie, and sometimes, behind the most beautiful clouds in the universe, waits a world that can destroy everything that touches it. Venus taught us something terrifying. Not every Earth-sized planet is a paradise. Some are tombs. And somewhere out there, beyond our solar system, there may be countless other beautiful worlds hiding the same deadly secret.